Good morning. This is Ask Marie, and I'm here before you to talk about how your credit score affects you. I was doing videos on mortgages and what you need to have and whatnot, and I've gotten a lot of requests for credit and how it affects you. First of all, there's three free companies. There's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And they all perform the same task, and that's of evaluating your worthiness through analyzing data. Okay, now if you look at 100% circle, you'll see that 30% is the amount of money you owe out in bills. 35% is your payment history on these bills. 10% is new credit. 15% is the length of your credit history. So if it's new credit, that's not going to have much bearing on you getting what you want. Then there's credit mix. Some people know that they don't have any credit at all. They're probably about 18 years old and they don't have any credit out there, and they have to go out there and make credit. What they do is they get these prepaid cards and they use that, or they order like in different companies that have mail order, and you pay in installments for them. There used to be more of those companies out there, but it's not as many since Amazon came along. Anyway, those are the pieces of credit that they're using to evaluate your worthiness of a good credit score. Now, credit scores range from 300 to 850. So if you got in the 300 series, chances are you don't have any credit. And as time goes on, you may have 400, you got credit, but not enough. And when you get into the 500 series, if your credit score is in the 500 series, you got work to do to build your credit. Once you get like about 700, 750, that's good credit. You can go out, you can get a mortgage. They've used that circle of percentage evaluations, and they have come up with a good score of 700. Now, that's what you call a FICO score. These three credit unions, companies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they use the same formula of measurement. And they may come out with different scores that are pretty close to each other. They average those scores and they come up with a credit score, which they call FICO, your FICO score. Okay? Now, how your credit score affects you is that you may not be able to get a job if your credit score is in the 500 series. You put in for a job, and for some reason you don't know, your interviewer, the first thing they want to know, what's your social security number. They run that social security number, and within minutes they find out what your credit score is. If it's low, that means you're not as responsible as the person that they want to hire. If you are higher, it may take forever for you to get a promotion or raise the credit score. Show and prove yourself worthy of a raise. So you want to get the job, you want to get the apartment that you're applying for. First thing they do, they run that credit, your social security, and they find out how responsible you are. Your credit score tells them how responsible you are, and if you're worthy of having such an apartment. Do you pay your bills on time? You don't pay your bills on time, you're not going to pay your rent on time. I mean, that just makes sense. Now, FICO, FICO, is the name that's used in the New York Stock Exchange. That's the trade name that they use. If you want to go on the stock exchange and measure how they do and what they do. So, but that's their trade name. FICO is the trade name on the New York Stock Exchange. So, all the way around, if you want to keep a score. Sometimes I think they measure that as to who to lay off and who to not. You know, why should we keep him if he's not even responsible enough to pay his rent or his credit cards? Another thing about those credit cards, if you have a credit card with a, let's say a credit limit of $1,000 and you go over $500, which is the 50% mark, that will reduce your credit score. Keep your limits at 50% or less. So if it's $1,000, don't go any higher than $449 in your spending, because if it goes to $551, that will reduce your credit score. You reduce your credit score, you reduce your worthiness to a society. So if you have any more questions, please address them in your comments. I will be glad to do another video to answer your questions. Be blessed and do subscribe.